I need to do good job. Let me just say that.
My God, I'm so glad to see you again.
Okay.
Em sẽ gửi qua niệm tưởng em gửi đây, em sẽ gửi qua niệm tưởng. Chưa ok.
Will be Eastside Union High School District Member Patty Cortese.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us to gather for this very auspicious day. This is a sad and important day to remember, and I was asked to bring some students to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, not only to bring their presence to honor this day, but also to share with them the importance and the significance of this day. Because we need our younger generation to really understand the sacrifices and the hard-fought effort to promote democracy, human rights, and freedom in Vietnam. And so it's my honor to present students from the Eastside Union High School District who will lead us all in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning.
Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Thank you all. And I would like to re-emphasize that this year's program, our theme is care, care, compassion, and community, and we all are showing that care, compassion, and community this morning. At this point in time, I would like to introduce the wonderful Crystal Mai, who will be leading us in the national anthem of the United States of America. Crystal.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose but stripes and bright stars through the perilous fights, all the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streamed, and the rocket's red flames, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the nights that our flag was still there. Oh, stay just that star-spangled banner yet waves o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Thank you so much, Crystal. And at this point in time, I'd like to introduce the San Jose Viet Youth to sing the national anthem of the Republic of South Vietnam.
Công dân ơi, quốc gia đến ngày giải phóng, đồng lòng cùng đi hy sinh giữ gìn thân sống, vì tương lai quốc dân cùng sống mà khói thêm, làm sao cho núi sông từ nay luôn vững bền, dù cho thầy phơi trên gương dao, hồ nước lai bao đào đến bao, nòi giống lúc biên phải cần giải nguy, người công dân luôn vững bền tâm trí, cùng trao quyết chiến đấu làm cho khắp nơi vang tiếng người nước Nam cho đến muôn đời. Công dân ơi, mau hiến thân dưới cờ, công dân ơi, mau làm cho cõi bờ thoát cơn, thạt pha vẽ vang nòi giống sớm thanh nghìn năm dòng dấu ba hồng.
Thank you so much. Please give a round of applause for the San Jose Viet Youth as well as the students from the Eastside Union High School District one more time. Thank you all for joining us for the flag ceremony this morning outside. If you could, please make your way back into the rotunda. We'll be starting our program in about 5 minutes. So thank you all so much for joining us out here. We'll be starting the rest of the program in 5 minutes.
Xin chào quý vị đến với lễ tưởng niệm tháng tư đen do cơ quan hội bàn tròn Việt Mỹ Vietnamese American Round Table tổ chức. Hôm nay, ngày 30 tháng 4, đánh dấu 47 năm từ ngày thủ đô Sài Gòn thất thủ, chấm dứt cuộc chiến Việt Nam.
We will begin the program this morning with remarks from Atkinson Tran, President of the Board of Directors for the Vietnamese American Roundtable.
Chúng ta sẽ bắt đầu chương trình với chương trình sáng nay với phần phát biểu của Atkinson Tran, Chủ tịch Hội bàn tròn Việt Mỹ.
Welcome everyone. My name is Atkinson Atkinson Tran, and I'm the board president of the Vietnamese American Roundtable. It's been 2 years since VAR hosted an in-person Black April event, so I'm very glad you're all here to commemorate the 47th anniversary of the fall of Saigon. This is also marks our 10th year hosting a Black April event, which itself commemorates our humble beginnings as a grassroots organization. So, as you know, VAR is now a 501c3 organization, nonprofit, and we advocate, educate, and organize for our community. And we do that through meaningful and cultural events such as Black April. The last two Black Aprils were virtual, as you know, due to the pandemic. And today, while we are in person, we want to ensure that you are all safe and sound. We have masks and COVID tests as well, so please ensure to take one before you leave today. So please enjoy the program today and stay safe. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us this morning at San Jose City Hall, following such an unprecedented time in our lives. This year, the theme of our program is care, compassion, and community. For the past 2 years, we have sheltered in place and taken all of the precautions necessary for us to keep one another safe. We hope today's program will allow us to reflect upon the struggles that we have overcome as a community and the need for unity as we move forward, not only over the past 2 years, but also the past 47 years of our community's history of resiliency.
Cảm ơn quý vị đã có mặt tại tòa thị chính San Jose trong ngày hôm nay. Sau 2 năm chúng ta đã không có mặt tại đây để làm lễ tưởng niệm tháng tư đen vì đại dịch Covid-19. Năm nay, chủ đề của chương trình chúng tôi là sự quan tâm, lòng nhân ái và hướng tới cộng đồng. Trong 2 năm qua, chúng tôi đã cách ly tại nhà và thực hiện tất cả các biện pháp phòng ngừa cần thiết để chúng tôi có thể giữ an toàn cho nhau. Chúng tôi hy vọng chương trình ngày hôm nay sẽ cho phép chúng ta nhìn lại những sự khó khăn mà chúng ta đã cùng nhau vượt qua trong cộng đồng không chỉ 2 năm vừa qua, mà còn cả 47 năm lịch sử người dân Việt Nam luôn luôn đấu tranh cho tự do không ngừng nghỉ.
Our community is and inspirational performances prepared specifically for this program. Because this is our first in-person commemoration back in person after several years, if there are any shortcomings, we hope you can forgive them as we learn.
Chương trình của chúng tôi được thực hiện là nhờ vào sự đóng góp của nhiều thành viên trong cộng đồng từ các thế hệ khác nhau. Chúng tôi hy vọng bạn sẽ đánh giá cao những video tự làm, các cuộc trò chuyện đầy cảm xúc và những màn trình diễn độc đáo được chuẩn bị riêng cho chương trình. Bởi vì đây là lễ kỷ niệm trực tiếp đầu tiên của chúng tôi sau vài năm phòng ngừa vì đại dịch. Nếu có bất kỳ thiếu sót nào, xin quý vị cho tay cho.
In bringing our community together, we also want to recognize the leadership of our elected officials who have a few words to share.
Mời quý vị lắng nghe vài lời chia sẻ từ các vị quan chức trong cộng đồng.
First, from our congressional district, we have Representative Zoe Longren, Representative Jimmy Paletta, and Representative for Rokana Kim Nguyen. And if you have a few words to share, we can start with Representative Zoe Longren.
Well, it is my honor to be with you once again to mark Black April. I remember so well that day. As you know, I was on the phone with the embassy trying to get people out, and the phone went dead, and Saigon fell, and that began an odyssey. First, the military leaders who came. They were up at the seminary in Los Gatos, and then later, tens of thousands of refugees who came through the jungles and by boat and were welcomed here in San Jose. And we are lucky that this strong, vibrant community of Vietnamese Americans is here in San Jose, the largest Vietnamese American community in the United States. I'll tell you, I don't think there's another Black April commemoration that is marked with 4 members of Congress. And I want to talk about each of these. Joe Kahn, of course, he was unable to be here, but he's well represented, a champion for human rights. I want to talk about Jimmy Panetta. Jimmy Panetta was a naval intelligence officer. He served his country in the military before he served his country in the Congress, and he is a fierce defender of freedom. Understands oppression and freedom in a very personal way because her relatives were persecuted in the Armenian genocide. You will not find someone who is more forceful in standing up for human rights. So I have a resolution my colleagues have asked that I presented, signed by all 4 of us, commemorating this day, and I want to present it to the Vietnamese American Roundtable in remembrance of Black April.
It's my great honor to be with you on this very somber occasion. We are, in the city of San Jose, very grateful beneficiaries of more than 100,000 ethnic Vietnamese Americans who have come here to enrich our city, to make our city the great place that it is. I'm enormously grateful to so many people in this room. I want to first, though, start with thank Phil Nguyen, Christine Tran, all the members of the VAO's board. I know Cynthia Buffy and Christine Tran have been doing this for 10 years. We really appreciate the commitment to commemorate this very important moment for our nation's history as well as the nation of Vietnam. I recall well, just a couple months after the fall of Saigon, I was about 6 years old. And of course, I knew nothing about what was going on in the world at the age of 6. But I did know that in my first grade class, we had a brilliant young girl, trained family, who came into our class. And she didn't speak a word of English. And she spent the first 2 weeks with her head on her desk crying. And it was amazing to me that Chang was so incredibly strong through those first weeks and months as we all saw as her classmates trying to understand why she was crying. And she learned English pretty quickly, within a matter of months, and Chang and I became fast friends. But I regret deeply that I never really did understand why she was VAR board might come forward. Thank you. My colleague, Councilmember Peralta, has a presentation as well.
Thank you very much, Mayor. Cảm ơn. Xin chào quý vị. Tôi tên là Raul Morales. Good morning. My name is Raul Morales. I'm the council representative for District 3, and it was a pleasure to be able to have the honor to work with VAR and the partners to be able to host today's event here at City Hall. And Mayor, I thank you for sharing the personal story. I will say, commemorate the historic yet somber moment and be able to honor those sacrifices. It's also an opportunity to recognize and celebrate our Vietnamese community here in San Jose, which is one of the largest communities outside of Vietnam and has for almost half a century now enriched our beautiful diverse city. I want to recognize the Vietnamese American Roundtable for their dedication to creating a strong and unified Vietnamese American community here that works toward improving the quality of life for everyone. VAR's mission is to mobilize, advocate for, and inform our communities, especially our Vietnamese community, of the critical issues that impact their lives, and to do this through coalition building, strategic advocacy, and organizing meaningful community events like where we're at today. For years now, they have hosted the Black April commemoration event, bringing together community members to remember the sacrifices made for the opportunities afforded to the future generations. And this year, VIR will be celebrating its 10-year anniversary of its Black April commemoration event. I'd like to invite the Vietnamese American Roundtable team to join the mayor and I now in accepting a commendation for their work and a thank you for their continued dedication here in supporting our Vietnamese community.
Who's my chief of staff, and I'm going to ask Betty to translate. So first, I wanted to say how honored I am on behalf of my colleagues at the Board of Supervisors to be here to acknowledge the 47th commemoration of Black April.
Giám sát viên Phi Trâm xin chào quý vị, và hôm nay là bên Dương sẽ cố gắng là hành hành xin thông điệp cho bà. Đây xin thưa gọi trước là đây là sanh tại Mỹ, cho nên tiếng Việt lúc nào cũng đang trong tập, cho nên nếu hôm nay có một gì sai xin thưa gọi cho và hướng dẫn về điều. Và xin muốn tỏ ra chia sẻ là rất là cảm ơn được hôm nay được dự lễ tưởng niệm tháng 4 đêm với quý vị hôm nay, và rất là cảm động và rất là nhiệt tình hôm nay với quý vị.
I know that today is a day with many, many heavy hearts. And we're here to commemorate that and also to think about the future.
Và biết là cái kỷ niệm của ngày hôm nay là mình nhớ thương đến những người mình đã mất, và mình cũng nghĩ tới tương lai, và những lễ giống như lễ tưởng niệm hôm nay đó là giúp để giữ lại cái lịch sử và cái văn hóa và cái kỷ niệm cho những thế hệ sau này của mình.
It is a reflection of our respect for you that the Vietnamese American Service Center opened this April, and that the county is one of the organizations that's invested in the Vietnamese American Roundtable. We're both honoring our seniors and lifting up our youth. Thank you for letting me be with you.
Hopefully it'll still be morning when the speeches are over, right? I am very happy to be here on this somber occasion. I always am reminded this is not a celebration, but this is a remembrance. And I appreciate so much the tradition that was started by VAR a few years ago to make sure here at City Hall that one of the events, one of the Black April events would occur here. So thank you to the young people, and don't worry about any flaws in the program. You all get an A+, and whatever that is, a 4.3 GPA or 4.5, that's what you get. It's an excellent, excellent program. Thank you. I appreciated so much the mayor's personalization of his own experience. Let me just say, because I'm a little bit older, that's not necessarily an advantage, but down the street here, down First Street, in 1974, or 1975, I had based on the international relations at the time and the negotiations with the North Vietnamese, that if there was a breach in the treaty in the demilitarized zone, that draft would commence again and we would be called up. So it was actually illegal here to not have your draft card. It was a requirement, and we all took that very seriously. What I want to say to the young people is, we didn't have social media. We didn't have information available to us like you have now. And it was only after hearing from the elders in this community, the first generation, as we call it here, I call it the greatest generation of Vietnamese, South Vietnam, and Vietnamese Americans. It was only until we started to read and hear the documentaries and visit the Viet Museum and talk to people like Bach Vu and Gerald Bin that I started to understand how valiantly, how bravely, how courageously the Vietnamese people in South Vietnam were to put themselves, including well over 300,000 civilians, in the way of communist expansion. Unlike Ukraine now, where you can get that information right now while you're sitting here, we couldn't get that kind of information at that time. So we were dependent on a few television networks to tell us what was going on here when I was 18 years old, 19 years old. And there were a lot of false narratives about the war. And I just want to tell you, I think everyone from my generation would say now, having learned the real history of what happened, the real bravery of the Vietnamese people in standing in the way of communism on behalf of the whole world, not just on behalf of themselves. That's the false narrative that South Vietnam lost the war. The victory was doing what needed to be done, just like the Ukrainian people are doing now, and say, we're in the way, and we're going to stand for freedom, human rights, and democracy on behalf of the entire world. That's what happened. And had we known that here, this country would have had a different attitude in 1975, I believe.
As I recall, by unanimous vote, just a couple of weeks ago, commemorating Black April Memorial Month, not day, month, by the state of California Senate. And I want to present this to the organizers today. And thank you again for a remarkable job of bringing this all together.
Xin chào quý vị, tôi là Ash Halora. I'm very honored to be your state assembly member here in San Jose, representing this incredible community. As others have noted in the mayor's comments, reminding me, I came here in 1978 from Canada with my family. And in those early years, those first few years here, when I was going to elementary school here at Oak Grove School District in South San Jose, every year there would be more and more students that would be coming from Vietnam and other Southeast Asian countries. And it's only in retrospect and reflection that you can only imagine how difficult it was for those students, let alone their families, to have to be not just going to a new country, a new culture, a new language, after losing so much, and still being confused and hurt and in pain. That's why what we do here is so important. I'm so grateful that 10 years now, Vietnamese American Roundtable has been hosting this event here at San Jose City Hall, where it should be. Because through tragedy, the city of San Jose has been blessed with one of the most extraordinary, loving communities that we could have ever imagined to be part of our fabric here in San Jose, the Vietnamese American community.
47 years ago, a morning like today, a 9-year-old boy from Bien Hoa, Vietnam, leaving the country, come to United States. The society of American and the culture of American and also the English. Bring him high, up to sky for 34 years. And he bring down 2 stars from U.S. Army. And today, General Viet come to see my museum, Viet Museum at San Jose. Please listen to him.
Dạ, tôi xin kính chào các vị lãnh đạo của cộng đồng, các vị cao niên, các niên trưởng, các anh em chú bác quân đội Việt Nam Cộng Hòa và toàn thể đồng hương. Thì tôi hy vọng là ngày mai mà khi tôi thuyết trình bằng tiếng Việt và có những cái đối thoại với cộng đồng thì tôi cũng hy vọng là nhiều người có thể đến dự cái buổi đó. Nhưng mà ngay bây giờ thì tôi phải cáo lỗi tại vì tôi phải chuyển qua nói bằng tiếng Anh. So I hope you got everything that I've just said. But really, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your enduring support. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for everything you've done for our community. You know, certainly this is a very somber day for most Vietnamese Americans, and I would say this is our own day of infamy that will stand on our heart for many, many years. But I come with a heavy heart, but it contains no hatred. Because I think from that fire rises a phoenix, and it's brilliant. Because from this somber and I would say cataclysmic event for all of the Vietnamese people comes a lot of inspiration. I'm inspired in that we have successfully passed the torch to our second generation Vietnamese. I'm inspired by the fact that Vietnamese Americans throughout this country have continued to play our part, to do our job to make this nation better, and now have become an important part of that fabric. And you know, in terms of our love for this country, you know, believe it or not, I came here when I was 9, you know, and we were on deck of the USS Hancock after being extracted by Marine Corps helicopters. And as I walked off the ramp, you know, we didn't know where we were. I was asking my dad, I said, where are we? And you hear other people whispering that, oh, we just got dropped off, you know, on some island right off the coast of Vietnam. And I believed that. And I said, I tucked on my dad's shirt. I said, Dad, where are we at? And he said, you're embarked on the American USS Hancock. And I said, what does that really mean? And he says, it means that nothing in the world can harm me now. So that has remained with me for many, many years. So in my service, I try to do my best to contribute to our nation. And this event, although very, very somber, it's a great reminder, right? And a brilliant example of hundreds of thousands of people who would risk their lives in choosing democracy over tyranny, good over evil. So again, you know, great that we were able to choose that, and we made the right choice because we chose this country. And I never forget, right, the opportunity to thank our great nation for what she's done for us. Right? Thank you, the American people, for embracing us and giving us opportunities. And I always reflect back to one of my favorite quotes from Adlai Stevenson when he said, when an American says that he loves his country, he does not mean only the New England hills, the prairies glistening in the sun, the mountains or the sea, but he means what he loves is an inner air, an inner life where freedom lives, and in which a man can draw a breath of self-respect. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm going to get a chance to share some of my life and military experience tomorrow when I speak, and I hope you get a chance to attend that. Thank you, Makla. He's been a mentor for me for many years, and again, thank you to to my uncle, Willie Black, and all of his airborne brothers. I served most of my career as a paratrooper, and thank you so much. Nhảy dù cố gắng.